Hello, testing. Hi, good morning, everyone. Very happy you all can make it after I think what must be a pretty wild night of partying and networking. So thank you very much and congratulations on making it to the morning session today. My name is Jeffrey. I'm the founder of Poco, which is a payments infrastructure company focusing on Web3 games and infrastructure in terms of fiat on-ramps. I think today, super excited to be speaking to a very, very diverse panel. You know, we have Jeannie from Clayton Foundation, so coming in more from the protocol side, the infrastructure side of things. We have T, who's from gamefi.com, right? Or gamefi.org? Okay. It's just a game publisher for Web3. We have Brian from YGG Southeast Asia. Needs no introduction, you know, one of the most successful gaming guilds in the world. And we have Andy, who's the CTO for Sky Mavis, which has brought to us the amazing X Infinity, which we all know and which we're all kind of learning from. So super excited to be with this amazing panelists. I think I just want to kick off with a warm-up question, right? Do you believe Web3 gaming will bring us the next billion users of blockchain technology? Maybe anyone wants to go first? Jenny?
Hi everyone. Maybe let me just give a brief introduction in Vietnamese first, because I used to live in Saigon last time. So xin chào các bạn Việt Nam, tôi tên là Jenny, tôi là người Hàn Quốc. Tôi là người Hàn Quốc và tôi đang làm việc ở bên Clayton. Clayton là blockchain arm của công ty Kakao của Hàn Quốc. Thì hồi xưa thì tôi đã sống ở bên Sài Gòn khoảng 5 năm, cho nên tôi nói được tiếng Việt. Okay, so that's it for the brief introduction. Okay, so regarding your question about the Web3 gaming, whether it will enhance the Web3 market, I mean the gaming, whether gaming will enhance the Web3 market, I strongly believe that gaming is a crucial industry or sector for metaverse to evolve, because it has a very large user base. And from Clayton's perspective, we have AAA gaming studios that we're partnering with us, and a lot of them are South Korean-based gaming studios, including Netmarble or Neowiz. And all this gaming studio has a great gaming IPs, and it already has a large user base, and they're quite familiar with the concept of the metaverse. So I believe that this is a crucial factor for large user adoption.
Yeah, my name is T, and so we believe in the metaverse in gaming for Web3, but it depends on the timing. Metaverse is longer and further in the future, but we believe that human generation, future generation, will spend most of their time in metaverse. And we even think that in the future, there will be virtual economies that is larger than real world economy. But it's far in the future. So in the short term, I think gaming, Web3 gaming has more realistic scenarios. So why we believe in Web3 gaming? Because in Web2 traditional games, there are already concepts and primitives similar to blockchain concepts. Like they already have in-game currency, they have game items, they have in-game economies, and that match perfectly to blockchain concepts. And another thing is, if we apply blockchain technology correctly to gaming, it will bring many benefits: ownership, transparency, liquidity, decentralized governance. So we believe that gaming will be the main adoption for blockchain, and gaming is best use case for blockchain. That's my opinion.
Hi, my name is Brian. So I'm going to come at this at a different perspective. Not only am I the co-founder of YGSCA, I'm also the founding partner of IVC, and we're heavily invested in a lot of games and GameFi. So from our perspective, we probably invested about 40% of our fund in games and GameFi, and lately we have kind of pivoted our business model for investing into more studios. So the last companies we invested in was Come to Us and Fun Plus, two of the largest publishing studios in Asia. Come to Us is number 3 behind Netmarble and Remix in Korea, and then you have Fun Plus, which is behind NetEase and Tencent Gaming, and both those are number 3, and they have games such as Guns of Glory, Summoners of War that have brought in billions of dollars of revenue into their ecosystem. Now, these two companies have come together to create their own layer 1 chain called Expla, where they are now porting over these games, such as Summoners of War, that brought in $3 billion in revenue over the last 6 years, and Guns of Glory that did about the same. So when you think about it, these are proven Web 2 or freemium games that have hundreds of millions of users that will eventually be playing these games via Web3, but they might not know it's going to be Web3 because I think both these companies are going to be going a Web 2.5 model first, but eventually all these games will be ported on to their own layer 1 chain, which will be focused on blockchain gaming.
Hello. Hi, I'm Andy from SkyMavis, the creator of IC Infinity. For your onboarding question, I think to reach billions of people, it is the effort of the whole industry, whether it is DeFi, whether it is wallet, whether it is gaming. However, in IC Infinity, we already introduced the blockchain and bring the benefit of blockchain technology to millions of people. Which they didn't know about blockchain, about Web3, about wallet before. So at IC Infinity, we believe that gaming is one of the very crucial parts in terms of onboarding people into Web3. And gaming is the most approachable way that it is easy to grab concept, and it is really good in terms of attracting more people because they have something to play, they have a lot of content to consume, and that is we think that it is the easiest way to bring billions of people into this industry. So we at SkyMavis, we want to apply the lesson and the infrastructure and the community we have built through the year to IC Infinity to scale it more and to apply it to other games via our publishing platform. So that is our approach for the future.
Cool. Thanks so much for the introductory remarks. I think I have a question for, first for Andy and then for Brian. So, we saw that first generation of the play to earn model using Web3 technology. And then I think that's, when we talk to a lot of game studios now, it seems like one of the complaints they have is that, oh, a lot of my gamers or the people come in to trade, to speculate, but not many of them actually play the game or engage with the game. So there's a shift in terms of model, right? We hear kind of free to play, freemium models, kind of more traditional gaming models. Just kind of want to get your sense for how is the model for Web3 gaming changing? What have you seen in the market, or what are you experimenting with? And and how do you feel Web3 adds to the gaming experience? What is the key benefit you see in it?
Yeah, I think Web3 games is like any other industries, other business. It evolves over time. At the first iteration, a lot of people are attracted to the financial gain that a Web3 game can bring. However, so we need to go back into root of the problem, like why do gamers need Web3? So firstly, they need a fun game first. So that is the most like prominent problem Web3 games studio need to solve. That they need to create a fun and like content-rich experience for gamers. However, for the Web3 elements, the blockchain technology can bring the ownership back to the gamers, back to everyone who using it. So after you have a fun game, you can feel the benefit of the ownership because most of the traditional games, most of your time and effort spending into the game actually belong to the game publisher, the game creator, not belong to the gamers, the users. So Web2 game bring it back, bring your ownership, bring your time and effort back to the gamers. And the second thing is community. A good Web3 game should have a strong community. So they are incentivized to contribute and to collaborate together to create a lot of content within the community and enrich the experience for the game itself.
So to add to that, yes, I mean, the first generation is play to earn. I think right now it's more play and earn. So I'll tell you a little bit of experience for my own. I got into mobile gaming probably about 10 years ago, and I played a game called Game of War by Machine Zone, the same founder who did Digigaku right now. And that game was the #1 ARPU game on both Google Play and Apple App Store. I'm not proud of it, but I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on that game. Now, think about it. If that was a Web3 game where I actually owned the gold, if I owned the materials, if I owned just the resources on that game, I would have recuperated hundreds of thousands back just by selling it to the other players that couldn't afford to buy what I was spending. Now, in that game, people were farming resources. We called them grinders. They were farming resources and selling it to me and transferring resources to me overnight when I was sleeping. Now, that was already a use case of play and earn or play to earn. And we feel like that in the coming iterations of these freemium games porting over to Web3, that there's going to be players that are going to be spending, but there's also going to be players that are going to be grinding and then making money off of it. So it's going to be more skill-based and not so much just playing and easily making money from the games that we saw in the first generation of Play to Earn.
Yeah, so it seems one of the theme I'm picking up there is that there's an attempt to broaden Web3 games to a more traditional gaming audience. And I think one of the things that, when we do like fiat on-ramps, everyone complains that it is confusing, very high failure rate, very poor onboarding experience, right? I have to go convert my fiat into crypto, go to an exchange, take it out into maybe my wallet, go to a DEX, convert it into the in-game token, and then buy a game asset. I just wonder, how can we make onboarding of traditional gamers into Web3 games easier? Maybe you can start with T. You work in game publisher. I'm sure that's one of the things you think a lot about.
Yeah. First thing I want to mention that for now, everyone talk about making a game must be fun and we must onboard Web2 users. Yeah. So that's a way of thinking. But initial users, for example, Axie, PT, and everyone, they are people labor working for money. So they're different audience. So my point is, when we involve finance into gaming, it will change the psychology and behavior of players forever. So it will not be the same audience as Web2 gaming. So I think it could be a new type audience. It will be mixed between the laborers and the Web2 players. So it will be something new, and we need to observe to see how it will work out. And secondly, because gamefi.org, we are developing what we call user engagement layer to connect gamers to Web3 games. So we think a lot about how to make the experience seamlessly. Like people don't need to know that it apply blockchain technology until it become necessary. Like until they need to withdraw NFT for something. So one thing is we delay all the nuisance of blockchain, and second, we need to provide some way to manage the private key more Web2 friendly. And finally, I think fiat on RAM is very important. And then we are working with many providers to make fiat on RAM easier for crypto users. And I think make it possible for everyone to participate without the knowledge of blockchain is very important at the moment. But one thing I should note, it's like when you make it more user-friendly, it will be more centralized. So it's a trade-off, like a decentralized chain to centralized chains. And at some time in the future, there will be some platform who stop user from withdraw their NFT or something, and we will discuss about it. It's like a snake moving forward. You sing to left, sing to right, and it will be the way we move forward.
I want to pick up on one of the point and direct the question at Ginny. So you mentioned that this is a new kind of gamers, right? It's a mix of finance and it's a mix of gaming. You came from a traditional finance background. You're now at Clayton Foundation, which is focused, it's a protocol focused on games as one of the key verticals. You know, how do you think about this this mindset coming from traditional finance?
I think at the end of the day, you know, the key verticals that Clayton is focusing on at the moment is about the gaming and the entertainment in the metaverse. So in terms of the question previously that you give to us about the, you know, how to be adopting these Web2 gamers to Web3, I think that, you know, the speed is very important. So Clayton actually provides like a 1 second, you know, immediate finality. So in that perspective, we have the technology to, you know, provide the gaming developers to develop, you know, more seamless way. And the second point is that, you know, community is very important for gamers as well. So Clayton actually partnered with, you know, the esports teams such as EVOS, the biggest Southeast Asian esports team, as well as T1, which is the, you know, esports team in South Korea as well. So we try to engage and, you know, interact with all these participants to be part of our, you know, Web3 game developments.
I'm going to push on that a little bit because you mentioned the speed was important, but I feel like most of the friction doesn't come from the settlement times, right? Most of the friction comes from, you know, just how do I get started on a Web3 game? And I just wonder whether maybe, you know, like Brian or Andy, if you have any thoughts on it, given that, you know, onboarding gamers is one of the key things that you're doing.
So yeah, onboarding is always the story in blockchain technology, in crypto, in Web3. So in actually, we learn from the experience. We learn from the lesson when we operate IC Trinity for a few years. So right now we are working on a few initiatives. Firstly, we want to make the wallet easier to manage. So previously you need to write out your private key and you need to self-custody your private key. But we are working on a social login feature for our new wave of users that they don't need to manage their private key themselves. Secondly, we want to like kind of like encapsulate the blockchain technology, specifically our Ronin network infrastructure, so people don't necessarily need to learn about the blockchain when they use our service. So we are working on doing some partnership to bring on more games into Ronin. And and we also have builder programs that our community can develop their games using the IC Infinity IP. A lot of them come up with really creative way to kind of like sell their in-game item without needing to deploy smart contract, and a lot of initiative that I think really impressive for the community. So yeah, in SkyMabit we have some initiative, but I think the most important thing is that we need to encourage and leverage the community for their creativeness.
So speaking on a YGG perspective, or the YGG family and all the sub-DAOs that we have about 60,000 scholars still around the world, which is number one right now. For YGG SCA, we have about 17,000 scholars, and most of our SCA scholars might not be the most technical. So as a YGG family, this is something we talked about at the sub-DAO meeting we just had. And between YGG SCA and YGG Japan, we have developed a wallet where we partnered up with a Taiwan company called CryptoGo, where we can do a login with just your email. And exactly what Andy said, where all you need is an email, and the private key will be stored with us, and it will be very easy for the users to onboard and use. And I think that is the most important, because for a lot of users, that private key is very difficult to get by, because they don't want to lose it. If you lose it, that's it. So you have all these companies out there and all these wallets that are inventing new ways to sign in, just so you don't have to worry about that private key.
Sorry, it's like getting to a very technical and, for me, very geeky and exciting discussion. I just came from DEF CON in Bogota, where we're talking about account abstraction and all those stuff. So not sure if I should drive that discussion in that direction. I think one of the things that I found really interesting about this space is that I came from more traditional entertainment background. My co-founder used to run Netflix in Southeast Asia and Australia and New Zealand. And one of the things they always discuss is that the user growth for Netflix came from Asia and Latin America, but the monetization came from US and Europe. But I think Web3 gaming is very interesting, because when we look at the numbers for Titan Arena, for X Infinity, like it seems like 80–70% of your users came from Brazil and Philippines. So I wanted to ask, kind of, where is the gaming community for Web3 gaming coming from? Is there a reason why it is so strong in some of these developing countries? And do you all see it kind of changing, kind of going forward? Maybe anyone wants to...
I guess I can say that, because if you talk about play to earn, the capital of play to earn is in Southeast Asia, but the capital of the Southeast Asia play to earn is in Philippines. And the reason for that, you got to think about it, is because back then, doesn't matter if it's Philippines or anywhere within Southeast Asia, people are making $50 a month, $100 a month. We had scholars that were living under a bridge at the beginning of this year. And when they started playing Axie, or it wasn't for us Thane Arena, but it was more the shark game. I forgot the name of it. The one on the Binance chain. That one made them thousands of dollars. They were able to, at the peak, make about $1,000 a month. And we had people that were living under bridges, living in cars, that were able to actually move into an apartment just from that. And that's because their monthly earnings is much lower than anywhere else in the world. And that's why Southeast Asia, or even Latin America, is where the play to earn is booming.
But compared to, say, like Indonesia, right? You kind of have the same socioeconomic status. Is there a reason why it kind of took off so crazily in Philippines, but maybe not so much in Indonesia versus in Indonesia?
Well, for Philippines, that's quite easy. It's because during the last administration, Duterte instituted a no work, no pay during the harshest lockdown in the Philippines. And that was for about 2 months, where if you didn't work, you didn't get paid. And that was where Axie had the biggest boom in Southeast Asia, because the community found a way to make money. And YGG was at the core of that, because Gabby, the founder of YGG, started investing millions of dollars into Axie and then distributing it to most of the Philippine population. And I think that contributed to the boom.
What about Ginny? Your focus, you know Korea much better. Like, you know, it's very high income demographic there. Do you see kind of like similar reasons to adopt Web3 gaming in a richer market like that?
Yes. So we have a use case. One of our partner has launched the MMORPG game, which is called Nino Kuni MMO. And then that has a huge success because it has around about 5 million downloads. So it kind of shows that you know, the gamers are willing to try out the Web3 gamings. And on the side point, we want to see, you know, the reason why the Southeast Asian is, you know, it's a market where a lot of Web3 gaming developers are focusing on. Because, for example, I just want to give an example of Vietnam, because Vietnam has the high mobile, you know, mobile phone user penetration rates, as well as a very young young population, and market sentiment is very vibrant. So I believe that this is a great market for the developers' perspective, and we, Clayton, is looking to, you know, recruit a lot of more developer ambassador. So we have a booth at the right in front. So if anyone is interested, then we're welcoming you guys.
Yeah. And T, you mentioned the intersection of finance and gaming, right? And one thing I'm curious, coming from a fintech, more traditional fintech background, was, you know, do you see people, aside from earning, do you see this as a way to introduce other kinds of financial concepts or financial literacy to the audience? Do you see any interesting games trying to do that?
Yeah, we are working with many games, and they are trying many different ways. And even recently, we worked with games, and yeah, they recognize that Philippines and Brazil more focus on earning, and the Japan or European focus on game playing. So they have different approach to different markets. So for like to do advertising on Philippines and Brazil, this is play and earn games. But for Japan and Europe, they advertise this is a very fun game to play, and they don't mention anything about earning. And people will discover they will earn along the way. And for the mechanism inside, I because many people for now they want to focus on NFT and to eliminate the token, because many people think token is toxic because it will dumb sooner or later. But I think the chance and also the problem of blockchain games is that it gives too much freedom to the people. Yeah, you can easily exchange any asset, and you know, giving too much money or freedom to some immature thing is not enough. It's not good because they cannot handle it. It's still very immature. So we are thinking of a way to make in-game token better by restrict the freedom. Because you know, for NFT use, they can trade freely, but then now people can involve new utility. For example, Sobao token. You cannot transfer Sobao token, so you can also impose some limitation on the token. Yeah, so we have many things to invent and innovate in the future.
Maybe I want to kind of pull Andy into this discussion, right? You know, we had the first generation, you had tokens, you had NFTs. You're saying is that, hey, maybe should we scrap the token? Should we just have NFTs, or should we have other kinds of tokens with more limitations? What do you think?
Many of you probably know NLP is an in-game token when you play IC. So balancing a game is hard. Balancing an economy is even harder. So you need to have a sort of minting, but you need to have a kind of like the demand for burning it to balance the economy. So we are experimenting a bunch of stuff, and I think the most important thing still be creating a fun experience for gamers, for users. So when they play, they have the demand to spend some money, and then they have the demand to burn some token as well. So yeah, that is there's still not a concrete answer, but we are doing a lot of experiment with that.
So I think we are kind of out of time. So I just want to maybe close it off with maybe each speaker saying one Web3 game they're really, really looking forward to next year, except Axie Infinity. Cannot pick your own game. Maybe who wants to start first? Anyone wants to go?
So we have recently partnered with, invite DeFi Kingdom as our partner. So we are looking forward to have DeFi Kingdom on the Clayton chain. So yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, I don't want to mention any specific game, but recently people talk too much about AAA games. But in Vietnam, we are super strong about hyper casual and casual games. So we think that's another way some Vietnam studio can make a connected world of casual games, and it's also be something good compared to AAA games.
Yeah, I think it would be unfair for me to pick a single game because I invested in 69 of them. For us, we are bullish on the studios that we invested in. Super Gaming in India, Fun Plus in China, come to us in Korea. So we're looking forward to what they have.
So for me, I look forward for our builder program games that they emerge from the community, and let's see the creativeness of the communities.
All right. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Really appreciate the awesome discussion here, and hope we can take it into the rest of the conference. Thank you, everyone.